Hey guys, welcome to Solo ReacTalk. Tonight, I'm going to be reacting to the Template Institute, Stellaris Invicta, Greater Terran Union, Prologue. No, not Prologue. Epilogue. Epilogue, sorry. Yeah, we're done with the 9 parts. If you want to check out my reactions to that, I'll put the playlist right up top here. And yeah, the GTU has been through a lot. You know, they came from humble beginnings on Earth. They fought for their freedom, their victory, their hard-earned victory. And from there, they just never stopped. They just kept on growing, kept on pushing the boundaries, kept on fighting new enemies, even after defeating the ultimate enemy, the number one, with the Sword of Terror. They still had many more battles to go through, and they bested almost all of their enemies. Either their enemies became a part of them or they were completely wiped out. So yeah, it's been a wild ride with the GTU. Okay, let's watch the epilogue.
Alrighty, 3, 2, 1.
Attention, citizens of the Greater Terran Union. In recognition of the hard work, tireless dedication, and heroic conduct exhibited across this great campaign, which reflects the highest credit upon the citizens of our nation, the Ministry of Public Enlightenment is pleased to make the following announcements. At the time this video goes live, 2 new state-sponsored pieces of artwork will be available for purchase in your local Union commissary. The first is the work of Giorgio Grecu, winner of the 2624 Natasha Fox Prize for Art and Social Patriotism, depicting a midnight swearing-in ceremony outside the halls of the National Assembly. The second is a political map of Earth, crafted by the Union Geographic Society, with accurate and up-to-date representations of the Earth's terrestrial commissariats. Finally, for all those looking for their chance to lead the Greater Terran Union to glory, the official GTU faction mod for Stellaris is now available on the Steam Workshop. In addition to including custom flags, name lists, and all the traits, ethics, and options present in our own campaign, it features an entirely new advisor voice modeled on the late Admiral Larissa Thompson, hero of the Union and martyr of the Battle of Yidru Station. Both this Steam mod and our 2 new posters have been commissioned directly by the Union Chamber of Culture. You'll find the links in the description below. On April 22, 2089, military space surveillance satellites from 9 separate nations began tracking a group of objects that had entered the periphery of the solar system. The arrival of the Tyrum and the war that followed left humanity on the brink of extinction. In desperation, the world united under a regime like none other in history. The government that would become the Greater Terran Union was not founded on any idealistic principles or for the benefit of the few at the cost of the many, but on the overriding necessity that drastic measures be taken to ensure the survival of mankind itself. The steps taken were severe and at times cruel. But 3 centuries later, when the homeworld of the Tyrum race was cracked apart beneath the most terrible weapon of humanity, none could deny that the Greater Terran Union had fulfilled its oldest promise. Few alien nations truly understood what drove the Union in its relentless pursuit of vengeance, why it had embraced such unrepentant nationalism, such an overpowering military-industrial complex, and at times, an almost tyrannical government. The Greater Terran Union found scarcely any allies as it spread across the stars, only new enemies and later subjects. When the Sword of Terror was unleashed, the galaxy responded with horror, and protests erupted across every world. But when the survival of all life was in jeopardy, it was the fleets of the Union that pressed onwards where no others would. It was through the might of Terran warships, through the courage of Terran soldiers, and the complete commitment of the Terran citizenry that the interdimensional rift was closed and the galaxy saved. Again, the great city...
Ironic, isn't it? The galaxy's most feared empire has now become its greatest defender and savior. Huh?
Of alien nations were filled with demonstrations. This time, however, protesters extolled the virtues of Terran exceptionalism, lamenting the cowardice and failure of their own governments. There were some who believed that the defeat of the interdimensional invaders would usher in a new era of peace and prosperity across the galaxy, one built on mutual trust and charity. The reality was very different. The power vacuum left behind by the Jazgavaz, the Zani, and later the invaders only laid the seeds for future rivalries and conflicts. Foreign powers moved to spread their influence across the devastated regions of the galaxy. The Greater Terran Union was hardly above such political maneuvering, and no less opportunistic. Yet in victory, the Union had earned admiration and respect. For the first time, former rivals looked to it for leadership, guidance, and protection. On worlds rocked by instability, corrupt regimes, or conflict, Terran ideals became as valuable as Terran weapons. Political movements rose across the galaxy, and through civil war or revolution, founded new nations inspired by humanity. Some became valuable partners, others loyal vassals, and some were annexed directly as new commissariats at their request. In a piece of historical irony, the disparate survivors of the Florian Matrix...
Okay, the part where the narrators said that, some nations willingly gave themselves up to the Greater Terran Union. That tends to happen, but in Stellaris, when I'm like a egalitarian society, some of them want to join my empire because they want to live the human way or the Earth way, That usually happens when I'm an egalitarian empire, not when I'm anything else, any other form of government structure. So in the comment section, you guys can tell me if you guys have experienced that before and with any other civics, if you're a militarist, a xenophobe, a pacifist. Did something like this occur with you where, a piece of an empire just decided to break away and decided to join you? Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes I invest in that little piece in the far off corner of the galaxy, and sometimes I just leave it alone and let them become a vassal state, Yeah.
Were the first among the latter. As citizens of the Greater Terran Union, they were given the chance to begin anew. In time, through the vast efforts of the entire Union, life on their former homeworld was restored, and Garden was named the capital world of the Florian Commissariat. It was the first of many such declarations. On July 11, 2756, Union citizens from dozens of species assembled aboard Triumph Station, in orbit over what had once been the heart of the Tyrum. For centuries, this station and its predecessors had been at the center of a solemn pilgrimage, a place where Terran citizens would congregate to pay their respects to the past and to the fallen. But on the 600th anniversary of the Greater Terran Union, it bore witness to something new. Trigen, daughter of Enim, the first Wasari High Marshal, proclaimed that while the values of the nation she served were rooted in humanity, they were not humanities alone. To be Terran was not the privilege of a single species, something granted simply by birthright. It had to be earned through sacrifice, through loyal service, through the steadfast belief that every citizen had the duty to contribute to the good of the Union and lay down their lives in its defense. To deny any that chance was to betray the tenets the nation had been founded on. A Wasari serving aboard a cruiser of Fleet Command, a Polenian working to root out corruption in the bureaucracy, a Rixian who donated a portion of his stipend to the National Reserve, these citizens and countless others were no less worthy of citizenship and no less worthy of the title Terran. It would take another century and countless wars, interventions, and police actions before the authority of the Greater Terran Union stretched across the entire galaxy. But with each victory came new peoples and new ideas. Today, on the streets of any Terran world, hundreds of species walk as equals, and all can boast with well-earned pride of the first within their race to earn the highest tiers of citizenship. They stand side by side in the museums of Earth itself and gaze at depictions of the war against the Tyrant, the battles against the Compact, the discovery of the L Cluster, the defeat of the Great Scavenger, the Florian invasion, the Nex Uprising. They watch historical footage from the War in Heaven and the final attack on the interdimensional rift and are shaken by the thought that the survival of the Union was ever uncertain. Each night, they stand in the plazas and parade grounds, holding aloft the ceremonial torches of new recruits, who take their oaths of citizenship beneath the statues of the Union's greatest heroes, ready to lead the next great age. Advanced technologies have pushed the boundaries of Terran expansion, and the devastation wrought across the galaxy has left an insatiable need for raw materials and resources. Already, the first probes have arrived in neighboring galaxies, and construction has begun on a wave of...
What? You guys are going to other galaxies now? Okay.
starships that will depart for these distant stars. Generations of sacrifice and hardship will soon be rewarded, for as the Greater Terran Union prepares to embark on the next great journey in its history, it marches towards this uncertain future, united in purpose and determined to never be caught unprepared again. Every wonder encountered shall be utilized, every terror overcome. And should any force in the universe ever again bring death and destruction to a world claimed by the citizens of the Greater Terran Union, each injustice will be repaid 100 and then 1,000 times over. Every galaxy will know that they came to the wrong neighborhood and knocked on the wrong door.
In Stellaris Invicta, the Templin Institute guided the Greater Terran Union into an uncertain future. The journey is now over, but we'd like to thank everyone who helped shape this story either on Patreon, Twitch, Discord, or here on YouTube. Stellaris Invicta succeeded beyond our wildest expectations, and it has been so gratifying to see an original story garner so much interest and enthusiasm. Thank you all very much. The rise of the Greater Terran Union was just one story amongst many, though. Stellaris Invicta will return.
Yeah, guys, that was the epilogue for the Greater Terran Union. Yeah, they're moving to other galaxies. They're exploring other galaxies. That's insane. That's just insane. Now they're like the Praetorian Scourge. They're invading other galaxies and, well, you know, the Praetorian Scourge, they're actually eating the biomass of other planets. And the Greater Terran Union, I think they're just going to make more Greater Terran Unions in other galaxies. Yeah, so it's different in that respect. But yeah, I like the fact that being Terran doesn't necessarily mean you have to be a human, and you have to be a human from Earth in particular. Being Terran could mean anyone and everyone across the galaxy, so long as you apply yourself to the tenets, core tenets of the Greater Terran Union. You are a valued citizen. You contribute to the greater empire, instead of, you know, thinking about yourself in a singular fashion and, you know, being able to sacrifice almost everything that you have just for the survival of the Greater Terran Union. So I like that this has become not only laws, but it's a culture, it's a tradition, it's a ethos that everybody aspires to uphold and to grow in their communities, on their entire planet or empires. So I like how it has evolved that way. Now they're using soft power instead of, you know, strong military power. Soft power it's amazing. The way it can spread, the way it can influence other empires, just like how the world that we live in right now is being influenced mainly by the United States of America, and sometimes a part of it from Europe and China specifically in the Asian, China and Japan, I could say, yeah. And on the African continent, well, there's a lot of countries that influence each other with soft power. But mainly in my country, in South Africa, we also project that kind of soft power across the southern regions of the continent. In South America, I'm assuming it's Brazil with their soft power influencing their neighbors on that continent. On Australasia, it's Australia that's also influencing its neighbors around it with soft power. So, you know, this kind of soft diplomacy, soft indoctrination, if I can also say that, is very, very important. It's almost free of charge. It doesn't require any blood, you know, sacrificing hundreds of thousands of soldiers to conquer a people. If you can conquer their mind, if you can conquer their heart, then you have them. You have them. You don't need to build and to spend money to make them a part of you. If you can conquer this and this, it's over. And yeah, the GTU has become very successful in that. They have become very, very successful. Wow, other galaxies. I still can't get over that part. Okay guys, this is it. If you like the video, please give me a like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Also click on the notification bell if you want to be up to date with my latest videos. And I will see you next week. We're still continuing on with the GTU. There's still a few more videos. Once we're done, the Antares Confederacy is next. Okay, bye-bye.